This is Josiah Plays Pillars of Eternity. Okay, we have just got our little Orland Druid here, Haravius. And he seems like he's going to be pretty cool. As I do with all of the characters and their abilities, for the sake of those watching through this playthrough and who want to know what everything does, who haven't played themselves, I go through and I read the descriptions of all of the abilities. And that also helps refamiliarize myself with them, so I know like what I might want to use when it comes to combat. So, he has his second level druid spells. Autumn's Decay is one of them. Let's see, it's another cone. And it does some corrode damage, not much. Oh, and then a bunch of corrode damage over time. Yeah, I'm not a giant fan of this one. Creates a cone of putrefaction, causing immediate corrosive damage and then more damage over time to any in the area of effect. How big's that cone? Big-ish. I don't think it's quite as big as the probably exactly the same size, actually. Never mind.
Ready.
Blizzard is good. Average speed, 15-meter range. Reasonable size radius. Does a lot of freeze damage. And they go down to minus 80% is what that means. Minus 80% attack speed for 11.5 seconds. So that is a good spell. Again, it will friendly fire though, or in this case it will friendly ice. Conjures a violent storm of ice and snow, slowing, inflicting freeze damage upon any in the area of effect and slowing their attack rate. So like, how big of an AoE is that? It's not really that big. But if you have the enemies all grouped up around the fighter or in a battle choking point, which I tend to do anyway, it's a nice chunk of damage and a nice attack speed debuff for a while. So, Burst of Summer Flame is awesome. Why is it awesome? Fast cast, long range, it has a radius, and it does a decent chunk of burn damage. Quickly generates an explosive flash of flame, inflicting burn damage to anyone in the area of effect, short cast time. Yeah, you can just kind of whip these off. Hit a few guys for some burning damage. You know, has a nice range on it. I can cast it way over here from where I am without having to move, which is gorgeous. And I just love things with fast cast time, because you can get them out there really quickly. The damage isn't enormous, but then again, he doesn't have the highest might either. It's only 14. And that's another reason why his area of effects are kind of small too, because his intelligence is low. But what can you do? Obviously, if you build your own druid, your spells can be more effective than this. But Conjure Lesser Blight. Oh, I need to see it twice. Just making sure everything's going okay with the stream. It looks like it is. Right, okay. You have to have 0 summoned creatures. This is the same thing with all summons. You can only have one thing summoned at any time. So, if you have a thing summoned, you can't summon another thing. And it's a slow cast, and I think it will just summon a random blight. Gathers a few stray soul fragments, coalescing them into a lesser flame, wind, rain, or earth blight. I don't think they're probably that powerful, but just the ability to summon something, to like throw into the mix to get enemies to attack it instead of you or whatever, is pretty nice to have sometimes. I mean, Kana can summon those skeletons once he has 3 chance. I can summon that Animat once per day with the horn, but
need something?
You know, an on-demand summon could be very valuable sometimes. Firebrand, fast cast, love that. Summon weapon Firebrand for 34.5 seconds. It forms a powerful sword with a blade of pure fire in the caster's hands that inflicts burn damage. Switching to another weapon ends the spell. I have no idea how good this is now. I tested it back in a few beta versions ago, and it did a lot of damage, so it was kind of good, but I doubt I will use this very often, if ever. Because he can't give the sword to somebody else, and it means he has to run up in melee and actually hit things with this sort of fire. And I think, yeah, so might not use that very often. Hold Beasts, though. It's a radius paralyze fast cast at 2nd level. I mean, yes, it only works on beasts, but versus beasts, this spell is amazing for a 2nd level spell. A radius fast cast paralyze? That's gorgeous. Because paralyze is an amazing. I'm using the word amazing a lot right now, so maybe I need to, like, buy a synonym. It's a very efficacious condition. It's quite beneficial. It's powerful. It's good. Paralyzed target can't take any action. Their dexterity is set to 0, and their reflex and deflection are reduced by 40. So not only can they not move, they are really easy to hit too. It's I love paralyze. That's why most of the time on my cipher, a good portion of the time I open with this ability, Mental Binding. Why? Because it's a paralyze. And it stucks the enemies. Stucks? Yes, it's fast cast. Mental Binding's amazing. It's like that spell alone is one of the main reasons I like ciphers. Because I can open with a couple of those and start a combat if I want. But anyway, so here he has Hold Beasts, forces a shrieking cry from the caster's throat, kind of like the shrieking eels, paralyzing all but the most fearsome of animals. So, only beasts, but beasts are going to get wrecked by this. And I need to know if spiders count as beasts. They kind of have to, right? Like, what else would they be? I know that obviously lions and tigers and bears, oh my! Now, but lions, bears, and wolves are obviously beasts. Probably spiders too. Which would be good, because you fight a lot of spiders in this game. Insect Swarm. 2nd level, small radius. Does a pretty decent amount of pierce damage, but it's over time, and they lose concentration. Attracts a swarm of aggressive insects, causing raw damage over time and reducing the concentration of anyone in the area of effect. Unlikely I'll use that much. You never know. Maybe against a couple enemy casters or something. We'll see. But Taste of the Hunt was kind of good if you're meleeing. It's a melee-only spell. Average speed. It puts a damage over time on them, and you get a heal back. The caster's melee weapon becomes an ideal instrument for hunting, adding continuous raw damage to its attack and restoring endurance to the caster with every hit. See, that's the description, and that makes it sound like you're getting like a buff on your weapon for a time. But whenever I used this before in the beta, it just hit once. It just hit once. You attacked once with it, and it did its thing. But, you know, getting like your whole attack's damage back as endurance, as like a vampiric sort of thing, is not bad if you're up in melee. Wood Skin, fast cast, AoE, plus 6 damage reduction, pierce, and burn and shock for 17.3 seconds. Could be worth it, you know, if you're fighting certain types of enemy that's using that type of damage. Could be a nice fast cast protective buff for the party, but I doubt I'll use it very often. I might use it once in a while, but mostly I'm going to be using Burst of Summer Flame and Blizzard, and maybe Conjure Lesser Blight, and maybe Hold Beasts. Those are the things I'll probably be using from this level almost all the time. Creates a thick layer of bark over allies in the area of effect, affording them a damage reduction bonus to pierce, burn, and shock. And for first level, I'll mostly be using Winter Wind, Tanglefoot, Sunbeam, Nature's Vigor. I may use Dancing Bolts once in a while. It's actually kind of good because it's faux AoE. So it's a big area and it only hits enemies, so I'll probably use that a fair amount also. 3rd level spells. You have Beetle Shell, fast cast. Oh, you know what this is like? It's like the cleric's, it's like the priest's withdraw, right? The priest's withdraw spell makes the target in a stasis thing and it heals them up and they're protected from harm for you know, 23 seconds.
Ready.
This puts him, it says 100-point stasis shield for 34.5 seconds. Cases them in a protective shell. I mean, in other words, this is just pretty much a worse version of Withdraw, and it's a 3rd level spell instead of 1st. So only in the most dire emergency would I use this. And it would have to be pretty dire. So Beetle Shell, don't expect to see that very often. Infestation of Maggots is just gross. Small AoE, foes only. Damage by percentage of endurance lost over 23 seconds. Enemies in the area of effect have their skin infested by hordes of burrowing maggots, inflicting raw damage over time. The more wounded the target, the greater the damage. Okay, so yeah, that's right. You infect their wounds, basically. So if they've taken a lot of damage, you put that on them. They start taking damage over time, and they take more damage over time the more endurance they've lost, which is you know, not really something I'm going to use that often either, probably. Nature's Balm is good. It's their upgraded version of their healing thing. It's a fast cast, AoE around the caster, a nice solid chunk of endurance over time. Draws on the healing power of nature, creating a rapid regeneration effect on party members. That stacks with the other one, by the way. So I could cast both if I really needed to. I could throw both of those down. The priest could throw down a consecrated ground, and we would be standing on a whole lot of endurance regeneration if we needed it for some reason. Purge of Toxins is a fast cast, and it looks like it's very similar to the priest's prayer against whatever spells. 50 defense against poison and disease for a good long time. Purifies the target of any toxic presence in its body, giving a bonus and reducing the duration of poison and disease effects. It's pretty nice if you've got some kind of really bad poison or disease using enemy. But again, situational, probably won't get used very much. Returning Storm is quite good though. You'll see this spell get used. It's a slow cast, but then it's a really big radius around the caster, lasts a really long time, and just start shocking enemies around you, only enemies, for shock damage and stun. Brings a powerful storm into being, striking enemies in the area of effect periodically with bolts of lightning that stun and deal shock damage. It's a pretty gorgeous spell. You cast it up, and for the next 34 seconds, enemies in a big area around you, and only enemies in a big area around you, just get shocked for damage and stun, like, randomly. It's pretty fucking great. So that one will get used. Spreading Plague. 3rd level druid spell. Foe target plus 5 jump targets. So the foe target is hobbled, weakened, for a decent length. That's not bad actually. And then it jumps and they're also hobbled. I kind of like this spell, because I like hobbles and weakens and those kind of things. Well, now that I don't have a rogue in the party, I don't care as much, because, you know, activating sneak attack ability was one of my priorities before, but without a rogue, that's less important. It doesn't mean I still don't want to do it, but still, it's not as good. Infects the target with a virulent and debilitating disease, hobbling and weakening them before spreading to other enemies. It could be good if you've got a bunch of melee enemies coming at us, and there's quite a few of them, and they all want to run after our, like, weak people, and we can't control them. Then being able to hobble, like, 6 of them with this would probably be very useful. Then again, why wouldn't I just throw down a Tanglefoot? But you never know. Stag's Horn does a lot of damage. It's an average speed, 10 meters. It's not an AoE, it's just one target. But it's one target getting hit for a lot of damage, and they get a -20 to deflection and reflex for a while too. So it's a big damage, and it's a big debuff too. So that's a great spell to use on a single tough target. Conjures an enormous staghorn to attack the target, causing piercing damage and inflicting a penalty to deflection and reflex. And then Twin Stones I don't like. I just don't like it, because I don't like the way it works. Especially when you're indoors. When you're out here on an open field like this, you might be able to line this up to do pretty well against whatever you're fighting. But when you're indoors, these stupid things hit like and bounce and get blocked by like any little thing, and it's really difficult to use. Also, it will hit your allies too, I believe. Yeah, it will hit anybody. So you send out these stones. There's 2 of them. They do crush damage, and then they do an AoE. They explode and do an AoE pierce. I mean, theoretically, if you had the enemies where you wanted them, and you could line it up right, and you didn't have allies in the way, then you could use this to pretty good effect. But sends 2 deadly boulders flying out from the druid's position, dealing crush damage to anyone in their path and exploding on contact with a solid surface, causing the fragments to pierce anyone nearby. I just don't like the fact that they go out in such a wide angle from each other. You know, because if you have a group of enemies, let's just say that's the group of enemies standing there, right? And you're like, hey, I'm gonna use this on them in the beginning. Well, you're only gonna hit him with one of these stones, is the thing. You can't hit him with both, probably, because you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just sort of annoying that way. So it's hard to use effectively unless the terrain and the placement of the enemies is very specific. So I'll mostly be using at 3rd level Stag's Horn, Returning Storm, maybe Nature's Balm. Those will probably be the main things I use there. And then I don't know what his Stelgare or Spirit Shift is like, but I doubt that I'll be having him Spirit Shift and melee things very often.
Ready. On it.
So that took a long time, because he's a primary spellcaster class, just like the wizard and the cleric. Those are the 3 main spellcasting classes in the game. Wizard, cleric, and druid. They're the ones that actually have all these spells, and they have daily spells. Versus the chanter and the cipher, who both have spells, but they don't have nearly as many, and their spells are not daily. They're based on some other resource.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Need something?
Let's talk to Haravius now that I've spent like a half an hour standing here just explaining spells and stuff.
As a peripatetic loner, I'm not privy to the latest news, but the Hollowborn Children is a tale that has reached even my reclusive ears. Or rather, ear.
I don't know what peripatetic means. Did I just learn a word? Did I just learn a new word? Peripatetic. Traveling from place to place, especially working or based in various places for relatively short periods. So it kind of means the same thing as like nomadic or itinerant. Cool. New word. That's awesome. Alright, so he's a peripatetic loner. He's not privy to the latest news. What do the Glenfarth and Druids think of this plight?
It's been a long time since I've spoken with my circle. They'd probably tell you what I'd tell you. This plight was most certainly the consequence of someone trespassing into Engwithan places, not meant for folk. I mean, what else other than the gods could inflict punishment of such impressive scale?
He's got a point. Just a second. Sorry about that. Okay. He looks askance and shrugs. What are your thoughts on the Hollowborn?
Anytime a life is separated from its soul, I wanted to pretend it was just a rumor when I first heard of it.
His eye meets yours, his eye, and his usual default smile becomes a frown. His voice trails off. He has several starts and stops before finally deciding how to finish his thought. So he doesn't seem to be a fan of it.
In my youth, I'd cursed the dear Woodens for being ignorant to spoilers that breed out of control. But soulless babies? What heartless gods would inflict that kind of tragedy? No parent or child deserves to be a part of that horror.
It is pretty awful when you think about it. Like... Let's talk of other matters.
Need something?
Really? This is interesting. Pull him aside from the group. Can we discuss... you can't do that with any of the other companions. Well, we'll get to that. Tell me about yourself.
My second favorite subject.
He runs his fingers through his scalp, preening his fur. His fur? I'm making up words. His fur.
What would you like to know?
Where are you from originally?
My mother's crotch. You?
Wow. Stare silently is one of the options. Are you always this foul? What a coincidence, I also came from your mother's crotch. Wow. I'm seriously making a your mom joke in Pillars of Eternity to this druid. What a coincidence, I also came from your mother's crotch.
For the record, only I'm allowed to insult my mother. But I respect your dedication to banter, so I'll let it slide. This time.
He narrows his one eye at you. I kinda like him. He's a little bit of a character.
I grew up in Erglonfoth, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glonfoth many times.
He's walked around a lot, apparently. The Fisher Crane tribe. It's an interesting name for a tribe. How did you come to be trained as a druid? Haravius thumbs his half-shredded ear and thinks to himself for several seconds. It wasn't, entirely by choice. Not at the start, at least. My ambition was to be a hunter. I merely arrived by a different trail. As a child, an Amamfath came to visit. An honored guest is occasion for a grand chase, but I was left out. Instructed again to be cupbearer to the old wise one while the rest were on hunt. I'm sure you can guess what happens. Wise Amamfath gives dumb child a shred of attention. We ended up talking until the hunters returned. I don't know what an Amamfath is the problem. I'm assuming it's some kind of great druid or something? Yeah, I'm going with that. He gave me... His hands dart across his body, scouring the pockets and folds of his tunic. This... Actually, he's wearing, Aloth's armor right now, so... He presents a rusted iron medallion fashioned in the likeness of a hound's head. A common icon amongst the frontiersmen, explorers, and other seekers faithful to Galawain. The Anamfath insisted I be trained, and none of my village would defy him. Now, he smiles broadly, I don't need a bow to hunt. Now I hunt with lightning bolts and flashes of magical fire. That's cool. You kill the animal and cook it all in one fell swoop. That's very convenient. What's your relationship with Galawain? I was raised as a disciple of the Seeker God. He is the champion of the hunt, be it the simple struggle for sustenance or the scholarly pursuit of knowledge. In my older years, I've found... He cuts himself off, shakes his head, and starts again. Ooh, hold on. Adam said something interesting in chat. What's it say? The Glanfathan are the elven and Orlan inhabitants of Eir Glanfath. They live in nomadic communities, each run by an Anamfath, which means soul prince. Oh, so it's the leader. It's a leader. Basically an elder, a leader among the Glanfathans. Got it. Hey, thanks, Adam. Thanks for digging that up on the wiki. I mean, I have the collector's book here, like a PDF of it that has all this information. I could look stuff up in there. It really does have a lot of lore. And it's explained very well. And the collector's book is like 111 pages of just pure lore of the game. It's kind of amazing. But I haven't had a chance to actually read it. So, Anamfath are the soul princes, literally speaking. They're the leaders among the Glanfathan. Okay. And that's who taught him to be a druid.
Life has shown me I am more suited to the ways of Wall. The furious hunt for knowledge often outpaces the journey to real understanding.
Interesting. What's the story behind the symbol of Wall on your eye patch?
Wall is known as the eyeless face, so his symbol seemed a good fit for my eye patch.
He absent-mindedly runs his finger along the strap of the patch band.
Wall iconography is rather popular in my home tribe, but it seems he is not as widely venerated here in the Deerwood. I remember thinking that if I consecrated my eye to he who obfuscates and reveals, then maybe with enough devotion, Wall would make use of old ruined thing.
He pulls on the eye patch strap and lets it go with a loud snap.
So if you think you see me staring at rumps and cleavage, it's really just the will of Wall controlling my gaze. Honest.
So he's kind of a pervert. Okay. Romancing the perverted Orland Druid. Go, go, go. Now, this game doesn't technically have, like, romance thing. It's like a... not like Dragon Age or whatever. Druids are known for changing into animals. What sort of creatures can you become? He takes a half step backwards as you ask the question.
All sorts of things,
he says quietly, with a long, uncomfortable gaze. Uh-oh. Sounds like he's cursed or something. Haravius, did we ever get the official... Is it Haravius or Haravius? I think it's Haravius. Haravius stares at you blankly, arms folded.
Let's discuss something else.
Unusually terse response. Can't have any secrets in my group. A man with your scars has a story to tell. I'm gonna go with this. Any man with your scars has a story to tell. I'm just going to ask you later if you don't tell me now.
Yes, I suppose you should know.
He grips his forehead and turns his face away from you. Did he just facepalm?
I struggled with spirit shifting, the final rite of passage in my druidic training. I prayed to Galawain for insight and, in the style of seekers of old, went to the forest, alone, to ask for guidance. And I got my answer. An answer at least, in the form of a vibrantly colored Stelgar that pounced from the underbrush and made a salient demonstration of its capacity to eat things 1/15th its size.
1/15th? Stelgar must be pretty big. He shrugs. You're alive today. How'd you fend off the beast? Terrible and thing you managed to survive. Let me guess, the beast knocked some sense into you. As awful that sounds, just one amazing rite of passage. That's terrible. I'm thankful you managed to survive.
Aye, it only cost me half my face. And for the record, the Stelgar limped home with worse.
This guy's funny. His fingers play gently on his ear stump before a smile comes over his little face.
As the beast was lopping off bits of my handsomeness, I remember trying to fight back, swinging with arms too short to reach. I felt I had the energy for one last swipe at the beast's nose, and when I lashed out with a punch, my arm felt twice as massive, and my fingers sprouted talons. In a rush of power, I shifted into a mirror of my assailant. Apparently, he couldn't pick on someone his own size. By the battle's end, his severed arm was in my maw. The beast limped away in defeat.
It's always good to have a severed arm in your maw. You know, like, just stuff in your maw. That's quite an impressive tale.
I thought learning to spirit shift would win me some respect. Maybe trap myself in a Deerin lass with a lust for little men. Alas, I might have been better off staying a novice. When I wandered back to my village, they saw my wounds and asked what happened. I showed them. The name they called my form was the Autumn Stelgar, and... His voice opens, but he hesitates for a long moment before choosing his words. They were not impressed. The Rao of my circle believe that the Autumn Stalgar to be a heinous abomination. It is said that if it eats you, your soul is invariably lost. As this was my first and most intuitive form, they deemed me a carrier of its evil. Even though I had never so much as threatened my kin, I was ruled unfit and cast out.
Aravius sighs, scratching his scarred face.
I don't know what message Galawain was trying to send. The only lesson I learned was that the Seeker God will punish you for seeking.
No wonder he got pissed and switched gods. So you're some sort of soul cannibal? Choose your shit. Anyway, Jesus say. Were you at least recognized as a proper druid? His brow furrows.
No, but I know I passed an initiation rite 5 times more perilous than any of those kin betrayers that insisted I was a failure.
You didn't choose your spirit-shifting form?
No, he says with a huff. It chose me, or so I imagine. I always assumed I would shift into a stoat. Seems more true to my nature.
He points to the embossed pattern of Wal on his eye patch.
As the Obscured teaches, when the answer is inscrutable, one must be content to ponder the question.
Nice. That's kind of a deep thought there. I like that. That's sort of how I feel about most things. Because most things are inscrutable to me. So you're some form of soul cannibal. Aravius stares at you with a frown before covering his face in his hands. Now he just did the double face palm. So, okay, wait. So, Durance's thing is to constantly tightly grip his staff. And Kana's thing is to constantly grin or smile. Apparently Aravius is going to be the guy who face palms all the time.
No, he mutters. At least I think not. I've never actually sat down and eaten an entire person to find out. I'm not that curious to find out.
Can you learn to spirit shift into something less terrifying?
Already can, and sometimes do,
He says with a beaming smile that quickly returns to a scowl.
But the druids of my circle assign great meaning to one's first form. I'll always be unclean to them.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Well, if you don't know me, you can't trust me. And if you can't trust me, odds are low you'll leap in front of a flying arrow to save my life.
He blushes and tugs at his tunic.
I've been meaning to visit the druids of Twin Elms to see if they know more about my spirit shift. If our journey takes us there, perhaps they can enlighten me with more information about the Autumn Stalgar. But for now, maybe we can talk about something less depressing?
He clears his throat and puts on a pained smile. I want to hear more about Galawain and Wal. He stares at you blankly with his one eye.
Oh, not sure what more there is to say on the subject, unless you were itching for a religious debate.
What more can you tell me about Galawain? A frown overcomes his face as he ponders your question.
Consider it a lapsed devotion. I will always respect this Seeker God, but he visited ruination on me when all I sought was knowledge, just as he taught it should be.
He meshes his fingers together and flexes his digits until the joints pop and click.
Galawain left his mark on me. When I see my shifted reflection, I'm reminded of his presence. Galawain still inspires my fear, just not my worship.
Do you think there's any possibility that Galawain is trying to help you, albeit in its strange ways?
I suppose that... maybe.
His one eye squints and his face contorts into a frown.
Certainly there's a chance Galawain was trying to help by making me blind and deaf to everything on my right side. But put yourself in my paws. Do I then go back and communicate in the woods to him again and invite another attack? It would be a suicidal leap of faith. Leap of faith, too. Not just a loop of faith. A loop of faith is like when you have a ring and it's of your... I don't even know. Just lost my shit right there. Sorry. It would be a suicidal leap of faith to ever go asking Galawain for anything.
He spits on the ground.
Anything.
Let's speak of something else. I want to hear more about Galawain and Wal. He stares at you blankly. Okay, same thing. Tell me more about your thoughts on Wal.
I came to know Wal in earnest in the first year of my exile. I asked myself why Galawain would punish me for asking questions. What just and fair god would punish me for doing as he asks? Questioning why I had been mauled just drove me mad. At the height of my worry, I would have dreams, where I would only saw with my injured eye. My healthy eye became blind in my dreams.
He lifts up the eye patch to gently itch at the socket. You catch a quick glimpse of a puckered and scarred abscess under the wall embroidered patch. So one afternoon, I stitched a stylized eye motif on the patch. I like to think of it as my self-initiation right into the Brotherhood of Wal. Wal is not an instructive or overbearing deity. He does not freely dispense wisdom and expects all of us to question and explore with our own minds. Wal reminds me that curiosity is being receptive to any and all truths, not hunting for any one answer. That's me right there. That is my philosophy. Maybe I should be a worshiper of Wal. So Wal ever actually sounds like you should thank Galawain for showing you the wisdom of Wal. Aravius chuckles to himself.
The same thought has crossed my mind. Had I not been mauled by the Autumn Stelgare, I might never have appreciated the teachings of Wal. I suppose I should thank Galawain for that much at least.
Thank you for sharing. We should be on the move.
And thank you for listening,
he says with a slight bow before falling into marching order behind you. And we got his quest. True to form. Makes sense. Shape-shifting form. My traveling companion, Haravius, has indicated his desire to speak with the druids that live in and around Twin Elms. Haravius is no longer welcome in his own tribe due to their fear of his spirit form, the Autumn Stelgare. He would welcome the insight of druids from other traditions, preferably traditions that do not have such a hostile reaction to the creature. Find a druid who knows more about the Autumn Stelgare. Haravius revealed that he was cast out of his circle because they considered his spirit shift form, the Autumn Stelgare, an abomination. He wants to learn more about it and feels that there may be a druid in Twin Elms who would know more. Cool. So now I have several different companion quests. Let's just see here. Anything... I don't know anything about Stelgare because I've never faced one. I don't know why I always open those up every time. Like, Galawain again is the god of the hunt, assassins, pursuit, wilderness, and predatory creatures. Sometimes thought to take the form of a fur-clad hunter or a great hound, Galawain favors the survival of the strong and the culling of the weak. And apparently Haravius is no longer a big fan of Galawain. Now Whale, or Wal, as it's pronounced, Wal, the god of secrets, revelations, illusions, cryptography, obfuscation, perception, dreams, and visions. Wal is, in and of itself, a mystery with no consistent form or gender. Its followers revel in the acts of creating and unraveling mysteries. Yeah, Wal's a pretty cool god, or goddess, or god, or deity. Whatevs. There's nothing new down here in the lore, right, about any of this? No, there's not. Okay, so, let's see. How's my biography looking? Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. This is the scrolling sound of the biography. Okay, that was dumb. You came across the huntress Sagani at a crossroads in the wilderness. She journeyed from Nasatak in hopes of finding a reincarnated elder from her village. Impressed by your ability to see and track souls, She accepted your offer to travel together. You met an Orland druid named Heravius in the woods. He said he was eventually bound for Twin Elms, but he was keen on exploring in the meantime, and he seemed eager for the safety of a group. Alright, it's only 2 more. It's only 2 more to get. Kind of want to test him out real quick, if you know what I'm saying. Kind of want to test him out.
I shall be quiet as a
Get
calm sea.
a little bit of combat
Which
out
is
here, since we've
not
had so much talking for so long. So people would probably like to see me kill something. Well, there's some lions right up here. Because this map, and the next map over by it, and the next map by that, those were the 3 out of the whole game that were in the backer beta. So I'm pretty familiar with this one. Although there were things that were changed, or there were things that were taken out of it because they were story related. So like Heravius wasn't here. This map was here, but Heravius was not here, and the companion that's in the town next in Deerford also was taken out for the backer beta, so there was no spoilers. So we've got ourselves some lions, and I remember them being pretty tough. So we'll see. Let's see, this will unlock the way to Deerford. I already did that. Okay.
Need something? Need something?
So he's now essentially the party mage, is what he is.
Need something?
Oh, wait. I can talk to him about more stuff. Hold on. Actually, let's kill some lions and then I'll talk to him about more stuff. That's all for now. Let's continue our journey.
We can speak another time. Lead the way.
Lead the way! Okay. Yeah.
Ready.
His stealth is crappy. He's the only one in my party that doesn't have at least like 4 stealth.
Yeah?
I don't even know what I'll use with him in the opening of a fight. Oh yeah, that's the thing though. These are all... He has no like encounter abilities. Like if I want him to do cool stuff, he's using up dailies. Well, that's okay. We'll use up some dailies. I don't even care. I'm gonna drop a Tanglefoot probably. How about we not leave the tooltip just hanging out on my screen? That'd be rad.
Ready. Understood.
Whoa!
I'll stay out of sight.
Whoa there.
Ready, Watcher.
Maybe the ranger will pull.
Sure.
Who's the stealthiest? It's probably my character, right? I have 5, 3, 5, 4, 4. I guess Kana should still be the puller.
Yes? As you say.
Kana is still going to be the puller. Because he's got the speed buff. He's tied for best stealth. And he has a bow. And now he has a ludicrous hat. So, you know, there's that. So, go see what you... Okay. Those are very, how you say, perceptive lions. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Lion's coming right at me. Maybe he can pull that one by itself. Oh god, here come so many lions. So many lions! Ooh, a lioness. they actually look different? They do. Kind of. A little bit. Alright.
Ready.
Do your thing, Druid. Let's drop a TF. A Tanglefoot. Oh, I don't want to just send the fighter running up into that, though. Well, shit.
Hey.
Everybody, I want you to kind of back off. Except you. And
Need
you.
something?
This is fast cast, right? Okay, good. So I can drop it. If it wasn't fast cast, I'd be standing here casting it, and the wolves and the lions would just. Oh well, shit. But he's gonna get. I don't want him trapped in the Tanglefoot either. This is not going to work out well. I did not plan this very well. Let's see what happens. Oh, and I have to run to cat. Okay, now we have problems.
On your word.
I really need you to get them in the Tanglefoot. That would be great.
Yes?
Okay, obviously, I massively fucked this up. That was the worst execution of the start of a fight ever. Oh, look at their accuracy of 77. That is no good. That is so decidedly not good. Look how hard they hit. These lions are gonna wreck us. Okay, well that's not the way we're gonna start the fight. Can we salvage this? Oh, yeah, and then I went over and pulled more. I don't think we can salvage this. I think we're all gonna die. Wait. Everybody stop what you're doing.
Hey.
Alright, fighter. Go ahead. Go nuts.
That didn't work. Need to try something else.
Yeah, that didn't work, huh? You noticed that? Alright, I'm pretty sure this moves with him, so... Dare's kind of gonna get owned, too.
Point the way.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Point the way.
Talk. Three.
Can't get a good shot with this.
Yeah, this is no, this is no good. This is no good. I need to check something. Watch this. Okay, so intelligence 13, fortitude 60. I want to make sure I'm not accidentally. That is not how that was supposed to go, at all. Okay. Oh, damn. He is getting... Okay, shit. Well, I need to not reload any saved games while on this map with him. Which means I pretty much need to not screw with those lions right now. Well, no, I could kill those
Ready,
lions.
Watcher.
It doesn't have to be
Sure.
I can just do it not stupidly the way I did before. There is a way to do it not stupidly.
Hey.
Right away. Yes?
What? Need something? Need something?
Yeah.
Let's just take a look at the range I can get on this. So I can cast it pretty far away.
On your word.
Hey.
Back up a bit. I just want to...
What?
Following your lead, as you say.
Ready, Watcher.
Ready.
Okay, with that,
Point the way. Get a good shot.
is that just not even working?
Ready.
Oh, I forgot. I have third level spells now. I'm so out of it. Like I've basically forgotten how to play the game.
Ready. Yeah?
Forgot I have whole beasts too. And charm beasts.
What? Ready.
Eh?
Need something?
Point the way.
Yes?
Well, that Tanglefoot's really not quite what I was hoping for.
Work. Need to try something. Yeah?
Alright, let's see the Charm Beast go. He's got Pain Link on, so hopefully if the lions are hitting him, they'll be taking some damage back from that.
Something else.
Yes? On your word.
Oh. All three of them are charmed. No, that's not true. Two of them are charmed. Okay.
On your word.
Nobody hit the
Something-
charmed ones.
On your word.
something?
Are they still charmed? They're still charmed. They're still charmed. I'm just expecting... Wait, oh my god. That charm beast actually turned out to be amazing. Let's see. Lion crits lion for 43. Lioness hits lion. The two lions killed the other lion.
Hey.
Something else.
And now they just run off. They're like, we're cool. Apparently that Tanglefoot does absolutely nothing to anyone. Well, no, go get...
Huh? Right.
I want the...
Curses!
Okay, here they come. They're coming back. Alright, good. That one's still marked. That's what I wanted out of life.
Blind.
Point the way.
Hey.
Alright, so that was pretty cool. Wait.
Here then. Torment. Ready.
Let's throw a blizzard right over there. We're gonna try Puppet Master this time. See how Dominate works compared to Charm.
What?
Ready, Watcher.
Wounding shot on the one that's marked.
On your word. Following your lead.
Hey.
Hawk's back.
Did the blizzard do anything, or did they get out of it? Alright, so they ran through. They were hobbled for a little bit. So Tanglefoot's not quite as good as I thought. At least not against lions. Oh, wow. The blizzard hit one for 19 and crit one for 60. It's kind of awesome.
That didn't work. Need to try something else.
Oh, cool. He just got frozen by the blizzard. Oh, wait. Those chains are for Dominate. So he's dominated. So let's see what happens now.
Hey.
Yes?
Huh?
Wounding shot. Get him, Itumak.
Yeah?
He's cast enough spells, thank you very much.
That didn't work. Need to try something else.
So the Dominate went away, but hopefully just because of... I don't know why. Because the battle ended or something. I'm getting a bit confused about how the Dominate and Charm stuff actually works. Mental Bind.
Ready.
Oh, I know what I want to test out next. His Spirit Shift. Has Sagani done anything significant yet? She shot for a little bit of damage. Wounding shot hits. Okay, so she hit him for 14 and hobbled him. And then he was presumably taking damage over time also.
Point the way.
Mark him.
What?
Switch to staff.
Yeah?
Spirit Shift.
I'm here.
Following your lead.
Huh?
Can't get a good shot.
Oh. Well, that's looking pretty serious.
Ready.
Point the way.
That wasn't so bad. But see, he's actually getting hit and taking damage now that I, you know, turned off Defender and took off his shield. That might have been a little overkill. I might still actually want to use Defender, just not use the shield. Is he actually hitting and doing some damage now that he's using a two-hander? Let's see. Hits him for 15. It's a graze. It's not bad.
Need something?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll end up using the druid or not. We'll see. I mean, he has some good spells, but I hate the fact that he's reliant on per day stuff. I didn't really see if his spirit shift did anything useful either. Oh my god! Oh my god! He ran up and crit that thing for 40 slash damage in melee. Wow, that's kind of good. Well then. We might need to rethink our idea of him being a ranged attacker. Also need to see how long it lasts.
Ready.
Lionhide. Lions were once a common sight on the plains east and south of Air Glanfath's great forests, but colonization in the eastern reach has pushed the great cats back to the relative safety of the territory between Glanfathan and Deerwooden communities. In addition to their great power, lions are known for their roar, a terrifying sound that can strike fear even into the hearts of the bravest kith. Okay. So...
On it.
Margaret's fire casts light in dark places.
Tanglefoot was not really as good as I remembered it being, but that might have just been because of the lions. It might still be quite good against like humans and stuff. We'll see. Charm Beast was quite awesome, and that I want to try
Need
Whole
something?
Beasts against the next group of lions. Elder Lion, that doesn't make me happy in my pants or anywhere else. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Let's
Eh?
well, not like this. We're just gonna do a Kana pull because that makes the most sense.
Of course. Huh? Of course.
On your word.
Oh. Hello,
Huh?
other lion.
On your word.
Really, he doesn't need to pull. This thing will just happen upon Adair and...
Huh?
Get him. Get him with bow.
Hey.
Yes?
Point the way.
Get him with Mark. Screw it, let's just start off right with the spirit shift.
Get a good shot with this.
So, I don't see anything like a buff icon on him showing... Maybe it doesn't have a duration. Maybe it just lasts for the whole encounter or until I turn it off. Actually, I should get over here and flank.
What?
Oh my god! Haravius is a beast! Well, literally, and he just hit for 40 again. Okay!
Yeah?
I like this guy! I thought her Spirit Shift sucked, but apparently his doesn't. Lol. Okay. Yeah, this is working out. He's working out. He's working out. Now that I know he can run up and 40-piece people in melee as well as have all those awesome druid spells. Okay. All right.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? Got an elder lion and a lioness.
What? Need something?
I'm gonna try Hold Beast though, because I want to see how it works. And she'll just I think I'll Pain Link him again.
Get a good shot.
That didn't work. Need to try something else.
Well, Hold Beast worked. Got a 1 second and a 5.2 second paralyze. Oh shit. Oh shit. Itimok, get out of there.
Hey.
Let's try my new Into the Fray thing, which should pull that lion back to Adair.
On your word.
Meanwhile, everybody else get back a bit in case should be acting up. So it's marked. Shoot that thing at it.
Ready, Watcher.
Need something?
Alright, well the paralyze lasted a little while.
Hey.
He does have Pain Link
What?
on.
On your word.
Yeah.
Gonna blind those lions. Wow, Adair getting worked by these lions. We
Hey.
better go ahead and toss this on. Oh, this Daze is the enemy too, huh? Okay, Druid,
something?
you're in melee. Let's see you use. But you're too far away from him to. Holy shit! We need to do something. Remember, that's what I was saying. These lions are really tough. They hit really hard.
Hey.
You might want to just go ahead and switch back to your weapon and shield there too, sir. And
Yeah?
oh yeah, I still have the priest.
Yeah.
So you shoot him.
Need something?
I'll get in here close enough that I can catch Adair in the Nature's Vigor. Fast cast, so that's working now. We can still use Isometric to get us flanking, right? In theory.
Yes?
And Kana, you can still shoot the thing. Isometric can hit him.
Ready, Watcher.
We can shoot a wounding shot on him.
Ready.
Hey.
Okay. Crisis averted. Dare, you can switch back to your justice. Okay, it's done.
Time to see and not be seen.
Now, I need to see how good is the ranger even doing. Like, in all of that, I can't really pay attention to whether or not she's doing anything useful. Grazes for 7, Isometric grazes for 6. Hits for 14. Isometric misses. Hits for 10. Isometric. Sagani hits for 10. Wounding shot grazes. Isometric grazes. Hits for 7. Her accuracy's good. She doesn't miss very much, but... She doesn't... So, it's very clear that she does not put out the kind of damage that the rogue did. But that doesn't surprise me. I mean, I knew that was going to be the case, and as it turns out, I'm right. I don't know if we were getting any flanking from the pet or not. I never specifically saw the flanking debuff on the lions, but I didn't really look very carefully. So she's okay, in other words, but she's not the rogue. And she doesn't offer a lot of utility beyond just damage, and her damage is definitely subpar compared to the rogue. But I may end up keeping her anyway, just for, like, character stuff. They're lion fangs. Lions were once a common sight on the plains east and south of Airglanfath's great forests. But colonization in the eastern reach has pushed the great cats back to the relative safety of the territory between Glanfathan and Deerwooden communities. In addition to their great power, lions are known for their roar, a terrifying sound that can strike fear even into the hearts of the bravest. Oh wait, isn't that the same exact text that was on the fur? It is. Okay. Well, I'm glad I could read that twice for you. Speaking of reading things, we've now learned about lions. They're base level 5. Okay. Accuracy 57. Let's just see how accurate that is compared to what's in our combat log. So a lion. The lioness had accuracy 72. The elder lion had accuracy 84. Wait, am I learning a fact right now that I didn't realize that I really should have known before now? Am I learning a fact? Am I learning right now that the stats listed in my journal are not the correct stats for Path of the Damned difficulty? I just assumed that those were the Path of the Damned difficulty numbers. But very clearly they're not, because these lions' accuracy is way higher than what it says there. I should check on defenses too. So what do we know about their defenses? Let's say just 61 deflection, it says. What kind of deflection were we working with? That says 64. That says 64. That says 64. What about a regular lion? That says 61. Okay, so that's correct, but the accuracy is way low. Do I have any things where I tried to hit them with any other kind of attacks versus... I don't think so. Not in this most recent part of the... Oh wait, what about wounding shot? What does that target, the wounding part?
Huh?
Versus fortitude. So the hobbled part did hit. His fortitude is 103. 103 fortitude. Versus 83. So how come their deflection was only 3 points higher than it says? See that one? That lioness has the right deflection, but... But clearly not the right accuracy. So I don't really know what... I'm gonna have to test this out with more creature types. I don't really know how accurate these numbers are for my difficulty level, in other words. Some of them seem to be off and some of them seem to be on. On? Anyway, lions, blah blah blah. Lions were once... Is this the exact same thing that was said? It is. That's unusual. Like most things, like if you kill wolves, you get this text, but then if you read the thing on wolf pelt, it is actually different text than this. Elder Lion started with a buff, Will of the Pack. Oh, I'm going to have to check that out. Good eye, Adam. I'm going to have to look for that specifically next group of lions. But I think I've done enough lion killing for right now. I've officially tested them. She's... He's awesome. So...
Will do.
Wait, how much... Let's just look at his... What was his sustained damage once he went to Stelgar form? Haravius misses. He engaged in melee. He cast Nature's Vigor. Being able to shift into that form, cast spells in that form, and be up in melee with those radius heals, like right next to the fighter, is actually a pretty darn good thing too. You know what I didn't look at?
Need
Was what happens to his stats when he's in that form. Like what about his damage reduction and so forth, and his accuracy? Okay, because he never got attacked. Because Adair's getting putting in work. I realized something. I need to keep Defender Aura on, because that's my engage 3 targets thing. So I'll just keep it on and resort to a one-hand to a whatever that's called, a two-hander, and that way he won't have that ridiculous 114 at least. I am going to reduce his stats though in the console as soon as I figure out how to do it. Like I know how to use the console. I know how to enable cheats. I know how to do things like add experience or add abilities. I don't know how to change his base, like stuff like that. It might not even be possible. I don't know. In fact, it probably isn't possible without an actual literal save game editor. You might not be able to like just set his fortitude or whatever right in the console. I don't know of any commands like that. But how was Haravius doing? Deactivates. Grazes for 6. That's not impressive. Misses. Misses. Grazes for 6. His accuracy is apparently 42 in that form, which is the same as okay. Grazes for 5. So his rolled damage was 8.8. It looks like he's not any more dangerous, really, in RAR form than he is with his bow. He got those big crits because of his glacial ability, which he could have gotten those same crits on with his bow, probably. And
Yeah?
so unless there's a specific reason to put him in melee, I don't need to always have him running up into melee. I can have him use the bow a good part of the time. But you know what I never really need to have him do is I never really need to have him using this hatchet. Oh, I guess if he needs to be tanky, and he can, I don't know, he could use the hatchet and shield, but yeah, a patch would be great. A patch to fix the stat problems would be great. Okay, let's move on. So I realized I am not done talking to Haravius. I haven't, like, even gone through all of his basic companion dialogue stuff, so since I explored almost up to this corner, I'm going to explore up to this corner. Just, you know, I don't know why. Because that's what I do. And I want this, whatever it is. So I killed a few lions. Oh. Hold on. There's more. Alright, well, we might as well.
Hey.
Ready.
I wonder if I can open with Charm Beast. No, it's combat only. Okay. It was worth a try. I can open with Blizzard, though, if I want. That was kind of awesome. And then when they try to come at me, I can be like...
Yes?
Ready, Watcher.
Need something?
And then I can be like, hey, guys, you know what's fun? I just need Adair to not be quite where he is. Alright, well that's not quite working the way I wanted it to either, but fuck it.
Stand still!
I was gonna push them back into the blizzard. That would have been really cool, but...
Yeah?
Huh?
Ready.
Hey. Hey.
Yeah?
Yes?
Ready.
Sacre!
Hey.
Ready, Watcher.
What?
Eh?
Yes? Not even now! Sacre!
Okay, cool. He is flanked now. So the little pet can provide flanking out there. Oh, hey again, Quan Jose. How you doing?
Following your lead.
Ready, Watcher.
I'm just testing, so I want to try some different stuff. Let's just... How much health is... Oh, he's about to die, so I don't want to... See if I can get a stag's horn off before he dies. Apparently not. Apparently. Oh yeah. Oh my god, Stag's Horn. Crits Elder Lion for 81. I love me that druid. Oh my god, an Orlin. Yeah, because his racial crit thing, can work on spells too. Orlin Druid, awesome. Super awesome. I think that guy's gonna be... I don't think I'm gonna have the wizard again. I think he's gonna be my wizard.
Of course.
I'll take a look.
Alright, and I cleared a few lines away from the road, so travelers can be safe. Okay, so now I'm gonna finish talking to...
Need something?
my new good buddy, Haravius. Like, I haven't even tried out his, like, flurry of cat attacks thing. He has some good spells, though.
Need something? Need something?
Ready, Watcher.
I'm not so much thrilled about the Ranger, though. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this fight. She marks her prey. She shoots him for 12. Of course, she doesn't have
Point
to
away.
use that hunting bow. I mean, just because she has... I mean, it seems stupid to not use it, the thing she has weapon focus in. But I mean, I could give her a gun. I just don't really want to very badly. Actually, wounding shot from an arquebus would be pretty rad, because the bleed over time is based on the damage of the original hit. So I mean, I could give her a gun, but then she'd be shooting really slowly and... Lioness crits Haravius for 52. So he had DR6, but he wasn't in his animal form,
Yeah.
was he? I don't think he was. Yeah, the Ranger does kind of suck. Yeah. I'm having a feeling that the Ranger's probably not going to make the team. But the Druid definitely is.
Of course.
Okay.
Need something?
I do. I need to have a little chit-chat with you.
Need something?
Oh, you know what I really want to know? I really want to know. 23 hours. About XP for people who are not in the party. How does it work? Do they get the same amount we get? Do they get half the amount or some percentage? Do they get none? Do they automatically level up when we level up? What happens with that? So if like, because I'm going to have people sitting in the keep, are they just going to stay low level forever? Or do they get some form of, I really need to like figure that out, like test it or something, somehow. The other thing, though, about Druid, Wizard, and Cleric, okay? Now this is what's amazing.
Something?
When he hits level 9, and this is the same for the Cleric and the same for the Wizard, when they hit level 9, their first level spells become per encounter instead of per day, which would be absolutely sexy.
What? Yeah?
And then when they hit level 11, their second level spells become per encounter instead of per day. So at that point, in those later levels, those classes become so much better.
Eh?
Because they can just unload, you know, all their first and level, second level spells every single encounter without worrying about it. Okay, anyway. Let's just we killed some lions together. We've blooded the new companions. Let's have another little talk.
I'm here.
What about you? You got anything new to say? I didn't think so.
On your word.
What about you?
Yes, my friend?
Nothing new. Okay.
Ready. Need something?
He asks with a raised eyebrow. Tell me about
My
yourself.
second favorite subject. What would
Anything?
you like to know?
Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything new here. So let's
Need
go.
something? Need something?
Tell me about Air Glanfath.
It's a verdant land of history, cultural, and natural beauty.
His voice falls off into a half whisper as he adds,
And we've already had enough unwanted trespassers, so I recommend you never visit.
if I was an Orlin, I could talk him up. Why should I avoid Air Glanfath? He looks at you puzzled.
There are no cities to visit, no centers of commerce to explore. It would seem most visitors come to our lands to pillage the Ingwithan ruins.
What did you find out about her last elder in your vision of touching the Borstat? Since I didn't find out anything about... Oh, well, yeah, I did. I found out he's somewhere on some cliffs overlooking the sea next to a big city, which means he's clearly somewhere right next to Defiance Bay. That's what I learned.
It would seem most visitors come to our lands to pillage the Ingwithan ruins. The ancient Ingwithans gave the forest to our ancestors, and in return, we watch their ruins and see to it that they remain untouched. And before you ask, no, we don't have a secret passphrase or hand gesture. Nobody enters the ruins, not even the guardians and watchers.
What do the Glanfathans think of the Deerwood and its people? Aravius spits. Wow.
Foreign looters obsessed with wealth and wine. May their bowels be obstructed with pus-weeping nodules, every one of them.
The scowl lingers, and he scratches at his ear stump.
Not that you're asking a neutral party. When I was an insufferable child, and I usually was, my parents told me Deerwoodans would enslave me in this life and the next if I didn't behave. But I'm in their lands now, and I will, in the interest of academic fairness, admit that I've met several, decent, mostly non-rabid Deerwoodans.
He looks askance and folds his arms.
But my suspicion about them all being drunkards has proven entirely accurate. I wonder what great wonders they'd accomplish if they all sobered up.
I grew up in Air Glanfath, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glanfath many times.
You've told me that before, buddy.
What would you like to know?
On second thought, some other time. Wait, that's me. On second thought, some other time. But he had other things.
Need something?
Aren't most Orlands in Air Glenfath wild?
Wild? Yes, I suppose all of us were a bit wild as my tribe was migratory and we didn't live in permanent houses.
His voice raises an octave in indignation.
But I understand what you're trying to ask. Yes, a slight plurality of Glenfath and Orlands have forest plumage. Growing up with meadow plumage, I was assumed to be weaker than others my age. The huntmaster of my tribe only chose apprentices from the forested kin, or rather, wild Orlands, as they're called amongst slave-owning bigots, as well as bigots too broke to own slaves.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel, Haravius. I think he's got some opinions. Well, in all fairness, though, the Deerwoodens did enslave a bunch of Glenfathans, and it's pretty fucked up, so I can't really fault him there. Haravius mockingly clears his throats. He has multiple throats. That probably helps a lot in some things. It's also possible it's a typo.
I grew up in Air Glenfath, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards
No,
of
wait,
the land.
don't
What
tell
would
me
you
that
like
again.
To know?
I want to be able to go back
Need
to
something?
Do you miss it?
Used to.
He says with a slight frown. He scratches his shredded ear and looks eastward.
It's home. I'll go back eventually, but...
He turns his attention to his shoulder and picks a small seed from the fibers of his tunic.
See this?
He holds up the seed.
I know, just a seed. But I've never seen this type before, and I'm itching to find out what grows from it. Every day I see something new out here. I'll return home eventually, but for now my curiosity exceeds my nostalgia sevenfold.
What can you tell me of your tribe?
I'm from the Fisher Crane tribe. Most of my people live far to the southeast, in and around the Thane Bog.
He weaves his fingers together and cracks his joints in a flexing motion of wet snaps. The tribe is not one of great renown, but we...
Haravius paused for a moment. They protect their lands in accordance with the sacred oath of old. And as much as it pains me to say it, I wouldn't want any other tribe's name attached to my own.
Did you grow up in a bog?
Only briefly. Here, let me show you something. Don't commit any of it to memory, please.
Haravius rolls up his sleeves and shows you his forearms. The soft brown fur of his arms is lined with faint stains of henna and scar tissue.
This is where I grew up, on the migration trail. I had it marked on my arms during my training. While much of the tribe guards the Thane Bog year-round, many of us, including the Circle of Hawk and Ivy, honor the oath by patrolling lesser-known ruins scattered throughout the lands.
He points at several of the henna crescents on his forearm.
We eschew houses, take only what we can carry, and move camp every 2 moons to ensure that all our sacred sites are visited at regular intervals. This nomadic patrol is how my druid circle came to name itself. We circle and protect like hawks, but we only ever perch on the ivy of the ruins, that is, nearby trees, never to enter the builder's lairs.
This is getting pretty interesting. It sounds like he's from a pretty cool group. Why aren't the Fisher Cranes well regarded?
Because the other tribes are insufferable sibling spawn?
Wow, okay. He grins broadly and stares at you for several silent minutes.
I suppose the Fisher Cranes have a reputation for being passive and reluctant to fight, which is another way of saying the other tribes fight hard while we fight smart. Our namesake, the Fisher Crane, is a marshland raptor that remains stark still from sunrise to noon. We are invisible stewards of the land and patient hunters of those who trespass. The Three-Tusked Stelgare tribe see our methods as soft and unbecoming, but I hear they use the same word for cousin as they do for whore in their dialect. Just an observation. This guy's got jokes. Could you join a different tribe?
Haravius frowns and shakes his head.
There are tribes that would take me. The twice-split arrows adopt outcasts like myself, but their ways are not my own. Some of them even live under roofs. How obtuse!
I don't think he knows what that word means. He looks off to the southeast and sighs.
I long for home, but not just any home. But Wall has made my wanderings fruitful, and I accept that it may not be until my soul passes that I rejoin the Fisher Cranes.
I had some other questions about Herr Glanfath. Maybe I don't. Let's speak of something else. I pull him aside from the group.
Can we discuss our party members?
Curious about your compatriots? Whom in particular?
He steps in close and speaks quietly. What do you think of Adair?
He's nasty, brutish, and tall. So, 2/3 like me, I suppose. The circumference of his neck exceeds the circumference of my torso at its thickest point. They sure do breed them big and dumb in the deerwood, don't they?
After a short chuckle, his voice falls greatly quiet. So, he's kind of an insulting little bastard, isn't he?
No, I'm being a brat. Truthfully, I think the guy's a lot more gentle than he pretends. He's certainly got a big heart for animals, at least, which is rather telling of who he is under that soldier exterior.
Ravius smiles and scratches film of his teeth as he studies your reaction. What do you make of Aloth?
Oh, him? Him I don't mind too much. Though I could pitch a tent with the pole wedged up his anus. I could smell something funny on him.
Well,
2 cents? Not quite. Well, whatever it is, take note of his mood swings. I don't think he's unstable. I just think he has a lot going on up there.
Ravius snorts and wipes his sleeve across his nose. He is not refined or delicate, this Haravius. Yeah, see, he does have something going on up there. I'm guessing that he's awakened. Just like the guy, you know, the watcher that we had to kill at the keep. Merwald was his name, I think. I think Aloth is also awakened, and he has an old previous life soul, like, partially controlling him, or, you know, conscious within his life, or whatever, however you describe it. Sagani, what's your impression?
She actually steps lightly when we travel outdoors, which is more than I could say for the rest of you. They do things differently where she's from, but she knows her way around the woods almost as well as I do. Almost.
Actually, in all fairness, she knows her way around the woods exactly as much as you do, because she has a 9, and you also have a 9 survival. And, to be fair, you are the loudest motherfucker here, because we all have 4 or 5 stealth, and you only have 1. So, you're the one that's stepping on branches and shit. But, you know, whatever. Just an observation, to put it in your words, sir. He looks at Sagani and silently nods for... I'm arguing with the NPC. He can't hear me. He can't hear me. Any thoughts on Kanarua?
Oh, I think I could fit 3 of me, plus a remainder of a 4th Haravius inside that giant. Gods, am I glad he's friendly. And between you and me, he has a better singing voice than the prettiest lasses I know from my tribe. It's 1 part unsettling, 2 parts arousing, and it makes me wish I still had both ears.
Ravius chuckles and scratches at his ear stump before adding. Yeah, he does have a good voice. This'll be interesting here. Let's talk about the crazy guy. Tell me your thoughts on Durance.
Oh, love at first sight. It's like wow carved an ever-changing gash in his brain, and every hour he's a different flavor of angry. Durance makes me feel like I'm the sane one. He smells like fear in the mornings and rage in the afternoons. I'm keeping my eye on him. He's a laugh, but he might someday be a problem.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier. He scratches his eye patch and chuckles softly. That's awesome. That's all for now. That's all for now. Let's continue our journey.
We can speak another time. Lead the way.
Alright, Haravius is pretty cool. Now then. What to do? Well, I think that should pretty much wrap up this episode. I will, of course, continue streaming. But I'm gonna end this episode for now. This has been Josiah Plays Pillars of Eternity.